So I say welcome if you're brand new.
All right, so we're recording now. And I just want to say this. Can we do this thing when we do the
Yep.
spotlight thing?
Mhm.
This right here?
Yep.
Okay. So just so everybody knows, I'm gonna just be very transparent with everybody tonight, because I think it's very important that every single one of us has different desires. We've all got different dreams and things that we want to go out there and be able to pursue for ourselves. And I will say this, excuse me. This past week, we lost my mom, and it was a very difficult week because I've had a good relationship with her. She had a very wonderful life. But still, it doesn't matter what the age is. You always have, when you've got someone that you're very close to and you have a strong connection to, it's always hard to say those goodbyes. But I've got a very strong feeling that I have a very strong faith, and I'm very happy that she's reunited with her family. And for any of you who've gone through some of those losses in your family, and I know that there's a lot of people who go through some struggles. Sometimes you go through health struggles, things like that. I want you to know that, this is a community. This is a family. The support that we received and that we want to give back to everybody when you're going through those tough challenges is something that you can't put a price tag on. And, I will say this, in a lot of different circumstances, you look at people's jobs and there's not that relationship that you find in this industry, because here we all oftentimes have a very similar sort of desire that we want for ourselves. Oftentimes our goals are similar. And, when one of us goes through some struggles, it's important that we pick each other up, that we applaud each other for each other's successes, no matter how minor they may be, because this takes a little bit of stepping outside our comfort zone to be able to go out there and get ourselves to be successful here. But I will tell you this, everybody, and this is so important to stress, that you can achieve anything that you want here, whatever your desire is. Sometimes our dream machine turns off when we're kids because we're told, no, you can't have that. No, you can't have this. And then we get into a job or whatever it might be, and our income might be capped. And so that's kind of how we define ourselves. We define ourselves from our past. And thank you so much for the nice message. But I would say this, it's what we can achieve moving forward is all up to us. Everything that we're at right now, everything we've attained up to this point in time, everything that we are in terms of our family are the result of decisions that we made that led us to this point, but they don't necessarily define us in the future. They don't tell us where we're going. Every single one of us, this is where you've got to really have vision, everyone. Picture about where this company is going to be. You are really the forefathers or founders, I should say, maybe, of this entire company. And so later on, when history looks back and people are walking the stage at these events, you're going to be the people that they're going to be seeing if you stick in the game. And that's what I got to say is, you take a look at our market penetration, everyone. We are not even close to 1% market penetration. 1% of people in this country have precious metals. But our market penetration is next to nothing in every one of the 8 countries that we're in. This means opportunity. There's a story that you might have heard once about this guy, 2 salespeople, they send him into a territory to go sell toothbrushes. And the first guy goes out there and he starts talking to people and they're like, what's that? What's that? And he calls back to the office and he goes, you know what? Nobody here even knows what a toothbrush is. This is a waste of my time. Why am I here? The other guy sits there and he takes a look, he brings it out and he calls back home and he goes, you know what? No one here has any toothbrushes. We're going to make a fortune. And so where are you in terms of your mindset? Where are you thinking? You're the people right now that sometimes you're going to go through the challenges. Sometimes you're going to get the no's and you're going to start questioning, well, am I in the right place? Am I doing the right thing? Because you might see some other health and wellness company and people are exploding and they're talking about this and talking about that. We see it too. But I also know the future. I also know because we're learning and we're educating people on something that most people don't have any idea about. And oftentimes, candidly speaking, everybody, it can be a little bit uncomfortable for people. They don't like hearing about change, but change is coming whether any one of us likes it or not. And so that's why it's important. That's why I feel when we share it with someone, it's more a purpose. We have to remember, if you had a time machine and you could go ahead in time and you knew that what you had here could protect and help people that you love and people you care about in today's time, how adamant would you be that people at least take a look at what you have? Because honestly speaking, you really do have that time machine. You have a glimpse into the future just because you have knowledge. Most people have no knowledge about how our money system works. I was one of them 3 years ago until I got educated on this stuff. So it's important that you really get focused on what you want. I have to tell you, and I'm going to say this very candidly, and you've heard us say this on other different times that we've been on these Zooms. You may have seen us do some of our Zooms from my parents' house. We drive up there and we'd stay there for multiple days each week. It started off every other week, and then it eventually turned into every week. And, you know, we were helping my father with my mom. She was dealing with an illness. And I have to tell you that it brought us all closer. It brought Danielle closer to my mom. And it really made her last few years really enjoyable because we made it fun too. And I have to tell you, you can't put a price tag on that time. You know, some of us, we have people that are our why. They are the person that we're doing this business for. And yet we procrastinate going out and working to give them the stuff that we want to give them. It really doesn't come down to material possessions, I find. It might be for some people, but for us, it's more just the experiences that you go through in life. And you have that here, everybody. If we had a job, we would not have been able to go there. We would not have been able to spend the time with her, be able to be there during her last few moments. And I have to tell you, that's priceless. And sometimes people make fun of your business and criticize you for doing something. Oh, you're doing one of those pyramid things. And they'll make fun of it when you're the smart one because you're taking the steps to go out there and give yourself freedom. You're the one who's going out there and working hard to give yourself, by working in a home-based business, tax advantages that other people in the workforce just necessarily do not have. And so you're the one who's being smart, but sometimes you're going to have to take the ridicule. Sometimes you have to take the questioning, and sometimes you might want to quit. Very simply put. And it's up to you whether you choose that you want to quit. But I'm going to tell you what, everybody, this is the best thing that I have seen personally in 30 years that is 100% tied into what is going on in the world. And when you hear one of our founders, Josh, say that one day, if people stick with us, that we will become their savior, and he's not saying it in a blasphemous way or in any sort of negative way, like they're egotistical or arrogant, like, hey, we're going to save you. He's saying that it's sincerely, this is a changing world. And what we are doing is empowering people like no other company out there is. We are getting them access to true assets at a time right now when, if you think about it and you listen to some of these videos by the people who know that our money system is getting destroyed, and it is intentional, that it's happening, everyone. Now, I'm giving you my opinion. This is all based upon a lot of different facts that are out there for you to go out and investigate and research for yourself. But I'm just telling you this, okay? Disclaimer there, just so everybody knows. This is me telling you what I am hearing, what I am seeing, and what we all need to really be ready for. We can't be arrogant and think, oh, you kidding? We're too big to fail. That's not the case. When our dollar is not backed by anything at all, and there are other countries that are now going out there and buying up all the gold in the world, I'll tell you what, everybody, this is a time that we need to go out there and get your share. Central banks are buying it by the tons, not by the ton, by the tons. And so that means that we need to go out there and get busy. So how does that translate? Well, basically, I will say this. It really comes down to us getting strong on our purpose here. And think about this, everyone. In retrospect, I am so grateful to all the people I've met in this industry, all the people who are on this Zoom, because you have a dream and I want to help. Danielle wants to help you get that dream, whatever it might be. Even if it's just being able to save in gold and silver, even if it's just for your own purpose, for your own use, not to go out there and necessarily share. We want to help you get true value out of this. I will say this, if you take this seriously, this can take care of your family. I cannot replace that quality time that I was able to spend with my mother, be able to be there with Danielle, who cared for her like it was her mother, and watched, and it was such a beautiful thing to see. And you cannot replace that. And I'm saying that because you can have the same sort of freedom, everyone. It's just waiting for you, but we just have to get busy for it. So let me show you a couple of slides on the PowerPoint here. And this is what I encourage everybody to do here, okay? First thing that you need to do is this. And if you got a pen and paper, jot this down. I actually don't want you to really be writing as much on this, though. But I want you to really maybe write down the steps, because I want you to really take it into your heart more than anything. because your why and your drive is something that's going to be personal to you and oftentimes emotional to you, because you can have it if you want it. I'm serious. You just have to understand it. And what are you going to put in for activity? So the first thing is, who are you? And what I mean by that is this: what are your desires? What are you looking for? Some people, and people have learned the different colors. You know, some people are going to be driven by money. Some people are success motivated. Some people are driven by helping other people. Some people are driven by just, they want to have fun. They want to have a great time in life. You have to identify where you are in terms of what you desire for yourself. And also you have to keep in mind that not everybody else is going to be like you. So we want to be good listeners. But I will tell you, when you identify yourself the right way, it's amazing. I'll give you an example. Sometimes our own language can hurt us. Like, you'll have some people, and I've heard people say this. I might have said this a few times myself. Well, I'm a procrastinator. If you ever say that, you know what happens? Your subconscious mind identifies yourself as you are a procrastinator, and it's going to make sure that every time you've got something that you need to get accomplished, done, you're going to basically put it off, because that's going to be in alignment with who your subconscious says that you are. I know it sounds weird, everybody. I was in psychology and I was very close. You know, I got to tell you, I know this stuff very, very well. It's the same thing when you sit there and say, well, you know what? I'm always late. You know what's going to happen? You're always going to be late, because that's what you're telling yourself you are. If you don't feel like you're very good at this business, you might say, well, I'm not a very good recruiter. You might say that. You know what? You're not going to be a very good recruiter, because that's who your identity tells you that who you are. If you want to go out there and you want to become somebody else, then identify what are the traits that define that, and then make yourself start identifying yourself in that way. Envision yourself that way, in the way that you want to be, because you can have it if you desire it, but you have to start identifying yourself that way. It comes down to the identity. Your identity is going to make you work, or it's going to make you not work. Okay. If you see other people and you want to go out there and achieve this certain rank, but you sit there and you're telling yourself in your mind, because in your identity, you're thinking back to your past where someone said, you're not worthy, you're not good enough. And you start telling yourself that, you know what, it's going to be hard to hit this. So how do you expand who you are? You read the right books. You go out there and take such things as the book by David Schwartz, The Magic of Thinking Big, and you expand your mind to greater things. You're all capable of incredible, limitless things. I truly believe that. We have a divine God looking down and willing to grant us what we want, as long as we have good servant hearts and we're willing to help other people get what they want. And we can get that. This is truly something where we are blessing other people. So the first thing I encourage you to do is identify who you are. What do you want? What do you desire in life? It's very important, because you got to align with that, or you're going to self-sabotage everybody. It's true. Subconscious mind is the strongest part of the brain. And it's not what we're thinking. It's what we've planted there. Okay. Second thing is, we need to know what our purpose is. Kind of goes right on in alignment with, who you are, but what is your purpose? What drives us? I will say this, that when it comes down to the purpose, with this company right now, we just by getting this information in front of people, whether they do it or not, you have done a noble deed. You have gone out there and blessed somebody. You might get flack from someone. They might give you a little bit of grief sometimes. Oh, what are you doing now? Oh, you're doing another one of those things. Let's see what this is. And I've had that. I've had people start to criticize, make fun of what I'm doing. But you know what? We're educating them by getting information in front of them that's going to be necessary for their protection in the future. I mean, it is amazing. I'm listening to this gentleman, Andy Schectman, online. If you haven't listened to him, you need to listen to him. This gentleman knows his stuff. And he's talking about these people who are multi-millionaires, including this guy who he says lives across the street from him. I listened to it in this latest video that he had, who this guy's one of the top financial planners out there. He's got all this stuff that he goes out there and does this financial planning for. And the guy, he even said, Andy Schectman said, he wouldn't know a gold eagle if it fell in front of him. And he's always criticizing him during those fluctuations on how's gold price doing? I mean, it's amazing, everybody, that right now you are smarter than 99.9% of the people out there when it comes to what's going on in the money system. Give yourself credit. Stop beating yourself up or feeling like you're inferior to some of these people that you're talking to, because you know more than them. You can't go in there arrogantly You have to figure out what's the best way I can get this information in front of them so they can see what I've seen. It's not arrogance. Sometimes it might be calling up saying, hey, I'd love to get your opinion. I really respect your mind. I think you're such a good business mind. I'd love to get your feedback on something I'm doing. All my focus is I want that appointment so you can see what I'm doing. But you got to figure out your purpose, everybody. And our purpose here is noble. Our purpose here is saving lives, absolutely saving lives. Here's another thing I encourage you to do. Write a vision statement. David Bird taught me this. He's a coach. He's outstanding. And this really helped me to go out there and get myself to be able to envision myself for the future. Because if we don't have vision, then we have no idea where we can take this. It's like driving around without a map. We have no idea what we're doing. So what a vision statement is it's basically a statement about your present, about your life at a date in the future, a specific date in the future, where you're sitting there and you're talking. And while you're talking or while you're writing this down, you're writing it in present day tense. So like, I'm going out to the pool to go do this with so-and-so. And you're writing it as if it's happening that day, like it's a diary entry that day, but you're writing it down at a date like 5 years in the future. And make it a specific date, like, for example, a birth date or something like that, so you can relate. And write down in as many specifics as you can what your day is like. I'm going to tell you what, in getting yourself to get vision, I mean, actual specific vision can help you get there. You will not give up. You will not quit. But it's important you have this stuff, everybody, because again, you're your own boss here. And it's easy when you walk from an environment such as at a job where it's a structured environment to come home and work from home and you don't have that structured environment anymore. You got to be your own boss. You got to provide your own discipline. And that's why the discipline within our autosaver is great, because we don't have to think about it and we're saving on a regular basis. It's genius. Let's take that burden off our people. We know that discipline's a hard thing for people to do. So let's take that burden off them. The next thing is to have a good attitude. And I want you to just hear this right here, this little piece of knowledge about having a good attitude. This is pretty good.
You have two choices in life. You can either be happy or not. You can either see the good side or not. Me, I choose happy. I've been working a long time, even on my angry resting face. Look how far I've come. Just do something about your attitude. Make sure you're out there showing your best, all right?
All right. Now, Danielle didn't know that that was going to be in there.
So
That was very
ridiculous.
funny. All right. So anyway, but it was a great advice. Don't you all agree? Anyway,
Let's move.
so another thing that you all want to do, everybody, and this is very important, is to create that dream board. And the dream board is very important because it's your visualization of what you want. I have to tell you, and I'm going to have Danielle talk on this real quickly because I know that she had put together dream boards in her past, and all of the stuff, or much of the stuff that had been on her dream board, actually came to reality. And so do you mind if I have you say a few words on that? That'd be all right?
Sure. I will say this, it is in the Bible, Proverbs 29:18, without vision, people perish. And unfortunately, we see that in our industry, right? People, they're here and then, we're cheering them on and then all of a sudden they kind of fade away. Well, what happened is they lost their vision. So it's so important to have vision and then take that vision. It's a gift. We have the gift of creativity. We have the gift of vision. We're really, God-given gift, right? So when we can actually embrace that gift and put it to work for us, it's amazing what can happen. And so I have created many, many vision boards in the past. And I can tell you firsthand, what's really fun about them is things that don't always happen immediately, right? But to go back and to watch over time, what has come to fruition has been amazing. And I'll give you one example. Maybe you've heard the story before, but I had probably back in the 2000s, I had a friend who I was at her house, and actually right before I had gone to her house, I was watching, what's that, Travel Channel. And they did a whole episode on Lake Louise, which is in Alberta. And I remember seeing it and just immediately I'm like, I need to go there. I need to see that place. It looked amazing. So next thing you know, like the next week I'm at her house going through her photo albums, and there she is standing in Lake Louise. I'm like, oh my gosh. And she's like, yeah, her husband had played in the NHL and she had gone. So I made a decision. I'm like, I'm going to go there. So I put it, the next time I made my vision board, I had Lake Louise right on there. Vision board was made, I believe, in 2011. And in 2016, I believe, Mark and I ended up standing at the very place where I had envisioned us at Lake Louise. We stayed at the Fairmont, really one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. And it was all because of the vision board, right? And I let go of how I was going to get there. I let go of all of the how, and I let it unfold, and it unfolded in this industry. Mark got invited to go do a training, and anyway, I'm a big believer in it because it's powerful. And I know that I have that story, and many of you have shared that you've also had that experience. So definitely put it someplace where you can see it. I also love doing just journals where you can carry it with you and put your visuals, whether it's a home that you want, land that you want, people you want to serve, a mission you have, something outside of 7K, right? A business you want to start, whatever it is, put it in there. And when you have it in the journal, you can take it with you wherever you go. It's really powerful. Obviously, having pictures of our families. And I'll just say this, when I said yes to this industry 17 years ago, one of the things I've always been somebody who thinks ahead, and I could see my children older. I saw my grandchildren, and I had said yes to this industry for them. I've always been a person who's very patient, and I've worked for what I knew was coming. And one of those things was I always wanted to be able to be there if something happened to my parents. And so it's been such a gift. And it is only because of 7K that Mark and I have been able to be there for we were able to be there for his mom, and, really create the memories that we were able to create. So it is extremely, extremely powerful, but you have to hold on to the vision and your belief.
Yeah, and there's going to be temptations. There's going to be a lot of things that are come along, because it always seems like the grass is greener on the other side. There's always the next great deal that's coming along. And you know what? We're not jumpers, but we've seen our companies fold. We've made mistakes of leaving some companies in the past, even though I don't really have any regrets, because we always made sure that we were always aligning with our ethics and our belief and so forth. But, we've watched people that have stuck with that company, just staying with that course, always tend to win. The ones going here to here to here to here to here, it's hurting reputations. And so we've got something here, everybody. I personally feel everybody, regardless of whatever their background is, whatever their company is that they might be doing, they need this. Their commission dollars are being paid in fiat currency. They need to be able to get their hands on gold and silver, even if they don't want to share. This is a smart place to be, because you're getting education, you're getting access, and there's so much more along with this. Discipline savings, I can't say enough about it. And we are fortunate enough that this window is open for all of us to still be able to take advantage, and you go out there and be able to build something. I'm going to tell you, all you need are two people that you personally introduce that see this, who want to go out there and run, and we will help support them along with supporting you. Help them build something for themselves. Help somebody on your team build their dream, and it will create your dream the way that you want it to be. But you can't create the desire in some people. Some people that you'll introduce, and you're looking at them, you're like, wow, let's do it. But you're picking up the phone trying to revive them and things like that. It's got to be something that, or sometimes I've had one funny story. I introduced this one person. It wasn't in this business. I introduced him, and he's all excited when I'm signing him up. And he goes, my time's very limited. And I was like, all right, no problem. We'll do it on a very time limited basis. And so he signs up, and I said, okay, let's just take 10 minutes sometime. We can sit there and show you how to do it. I don't have time. And he leaves. And I never saw him again. I connected with him on Facebook years later, but that's how it ended. And so if they don't have the time, we can't make them do that. Okay. We can't make them want something. And so let's go out there and find them. You're all on this Zoom. You're taking the initiative to get on this. That means that you have the vision. Maybe sometimes our vision might get tainted a little bit. Maybe sometimes we might start questioning a little bit about, is that a vision that's attainable? But you got to remember, everybody, when this goes into momentum, you're not going to be able to stop the momentum. That's why I'm telling everybody, keep the focus on planting those seeds. It's coming. And here's the other thing. I would tell you this. Remember, it's all about the important things in your life. You know, family, friends, community, the community that we have here. I cannot say enough about everybody here. The friendships that are family, I consider you family. You know, if I run into you somewhere and I'm looking around at just in the world, you hear in the news all this divisiveness, but yet when I'm out and about, people I'm meeting are just so friendly and nice. And that's what I think really human nature is all about. And so we have to remember that on this next slide, I think this really kind of puts it in perspective. Enjoy the little things in life, for one day you're going to look back and realize that they were really the big things. And, you know, it doesn't need to be something that is some extravagant goal that you've got, something that's, you know, maybe years down the road for you to go out there and be able to achieve that happiness and that joy. Maybe it's just going out there and spending a little bit more quality time with your family, having a little bit more time off, whatever it might be. You got to dream big, everybody, and you've got to basically stay focused on the end result. And the biggest thing I would tell you is get into action. You know, let's start picking up the phone. What we're doing a lot of, and I would encourage everybody, the one thing that I would learn more than anything is how to share my screen on a Zoom. Because we're trying to do as many of, listen, you need to check out what, you need to see what someone showed me. Can we hop on a Zoom? And we sit and we play the video for them. I'm not leaving the responsibility in their hands, because a lot of times, everybody, when they are taking the time to watch it, if they're watching it in a very distracted manner. What we want to do is I want to get them so I can sit and watch it with them, get them while their energy is high, share with them maybe that Pearl Harbor video. And we've watched somebody literally who was saying earlier in the Zoom, I'm not into collectibles. I don't think that's for me. We showed the Pearl Harbor Zoom and it went 180 degrees. Wow, that's a set. I want to get every one of the coins in that set. So it's our excitement, everybody. If you're not feeling it, I encourage you, go listen to the Andy Schecterman video that was in Las Vegas, or listen to one of his videos. This guy knows his stuff. And sometimes it's not the most pleasant stuff to listen to, but it's important for us to know that what we are doing is a noble cause. What we are doing by sharing this with people is at least empowering them with knowledge and giving them access to something that could save their family down the road. But it needs to take action. And I'm going to let you maybe say a few words on that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'll just say, I mean, I think when we all understand that we are so blessed to know what we know, right? To know 7K. Most people right now have no idea. Not only do they not know the name 7K, they don't know they need gold and silver, but they don't even know what's going on in the world. The video that Mark was just talking about, the Andy Schecterman video, if you were on last night, Tony had mentioned it. If somebody wants to drop the link, we can put it in the Freedom Family, but it is a must watch. And we actually got on a Zoom. We have 2 new members, Andrew and Barb. I don't know if they're on. I see Andrew on here. And we were talking to them earlier. We were helping them get their Sound Money wallet set up, but they had, because they were on the Zoom last night, they grabbed the link and they watched it. And both of them are just, you know, first of all, they're taking Andy's advice, what his dad taught him to say every 2 weeks to buy a little bit of gold or a little bit of silver, but also that realization of what is really going on in the world. And if you're relying on mainstream media, you are completely misinformed. You have no idea. So I really feel like we are the chosen right now. We have this information. We have access to helping the masses protect themselves and prepare for what's coming. You know, we had another call. Somebody was like, well, I'm not a big doomsday person. I'm not a doomsday person either, but I'm also not somebody who has my head in the sand. I mean, the writing is on the wall, right? And so what we have to do is we have to plant the seeds, because there will come a day where everybody is going to know that they need gold and silver. And if we have shared 7K with our friends, even the ones who aren't ready yet, on that day, they will be calling you and they will be pleading with you, please help me. Can I still do this? Is there still a way for me to get some? You guys, this is, like Mark says, it's a noble cause. It is such a noble cause. And I really do feel like we are saving people's lives by sharing the 7K message with them. It is such a gift. So, stand strong and just know whatever you're going to go through in your journey of sharing with others, we've been there. So you're not alone. Lean on each other. Take the advice, Mark, the systems that are in place are there. They're there for a reason because they have proven success. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, right? Just keep it simple. And remember, we're sorting, taking people from not knowing about 7K to knowing about 7K, letting them decide whether or not they're ready to take action. But in the meantime, we just continue to plant those seeds. And if you're in a place, I know in any journey in the business, if you've been in this industry long enough, it's a journey. And Mark was talking earlier, you see people get off the track. Sometimes you see them like completely leave the arena, right? They leave 7K for something else. And it always breaks my heart because I'm like, they're gone too soon. There is nothing that activity won't fix in this industry. I heard that the first company I was in, and I have lived it. So if you're at a point, maybe you've been in 7K for a bit and you're, frustrated or tired, take the break, give yourself the grace, but then get back on the horse, get into activity, because it is always, always, always the solution. And there are people right now who are praying. We say it all the time. They are praying for the gift of 7K. They just don't know it's going to come from your phone call, and they don't know it's going to be in the form of gold and silver yet.
Yeah. And I would tell everybody this, have fun while you're out there sharing it, because I know that we've talked a lot of stuff that can be a little bit, hey, this is going to happen. This is why you need to do this. But if you're out there running around, you're all stressed and you get stress lines, like this, oh, you got to do this. They're going to be stressed. We don't need to have people stressed. It's more like you need to see it because of this particular thing. And I will tell you, with these new packs that they just came out, I'm extremely excited about it. Very, very excited, because now people are going to taste that first collectible when they get their pack. And we did not see any value in the collectibles until we got that first one. And after that, we became hooked on them. And then we just started tracking the value, and we loved what we saw. And we have the new Beauty of the World coming out very soon. So there's a lot of great stuff. I would encourage every one of us, get yourself so you can turn your dream machine back on if you've turned it off. If your dream machine's on, then let's put together a plan of action today to go out there and get this done. Get this in front of people. 2 new people a day, consistent actions every day. I'm going to tell you, we are saving lives. And so that's all I want to mention. But yeah, anybody have anything you want to add, share, jump in, feel free. Open forum sort of thing, questions that you want to ask.
Yeah, we'd love for you guys to all participate. Annie.
Hey guys, good to
Our
see
spotlight
you. Oops.
All right. Do I have to let you unmute? Can you
Maybe.
unmute, Annie?
Can you hear me?
Mark will help.
Yeah,
Okay.
make sure our sound's on there. We can hear you.
Thank you guys. This is wonderful. Good to see your faces in this. I know it's been an intense week, and you have both been on my heart. And I wanted to just sort of re-emphasize what you guys said about the videos versus in person, versus in real time, because I don't know if I ever told you this, but when I had seen you guys at the barn during the lightning tour, I already was sold on 7K. And then Danielle, you sent me the overview video, and I kept trying to watch it, and I was multitasking, and it was like the third time I went, you have got to sit down and actually watch this. But but I was like, I was more into the stories, and there was a lot of facts in there, and that's not really my thing. So if I knew you guys, I liked you, I trusted you, I already was sold on 7K. If I had to discipline myself to watch it that much, then most people are definitely not going to watch it. So
Right.
Couldn't agree more. Anytime I've ever been sent a video, I've never watched it.
Me neither. Or if I have, I've watched it in 4 or 5 segments where I'm
Yeah.
leaving the room, I'll stop it, and then I even forgot what I left in the first place. So
totally.
I agree. And another tip, and I've been guilty of this, everyone, but if it is a one-on-one, leave your camera on. While you're sitting there. I've been guilty of turning it off, especially when we do large ones like this, because I don't want to be, it's just a larger one. I don't want to be a distraction more, but if it's one-on-one, they've got to see us participating or sitting there with them. That'd be like if they're at our house and we put on the TV and we leave the room. It doesn't show our excitement towards it. And so if it is a one-on-one and you're doing it, leave your camera on. That's important because they need to see your reactions. They need to see your excitement. And you don't sit there like this, like you're bored or distracted or talking. Be into that video like they are. They're going to see your intensity into that video or your excitement towards the video, and they'll understand, hey, you're committed. This person is going there. And they'll follow people they want, that they know are going someplace, not people who hope they're going to go someplace. Nicole, you need to unmute.
Yeah, I was trying to find the button.
There you go.
Hey, great stuff always. But I just wanted to say that and encourage everybody to call people, because I just called a lady who's a good friend of mine. And, she's very well off. She's, not pressed, but I called her, talked to her, and she said, that's crazy. She's like, she goes, for the last week I've been spending looking at and researching gold and silver. And she goes, there's a lot of options out there. I just didn't know what to trust. She was like, I'm just like in information overload. So you just never know that your call is going to be right on time. So you should never like chicken out on people or think they've got it going on. Those are the people that absolutely need it. You need to call your biggest hitters, and call everyone. Everyone needs it. It doesn't matter. You should never judge it. Just call and start dialing.
Love it.
Yeah,
Great
excellent point.
advice.
And for some people, for me, not in this business, but in another one, it was a matter of time. And that I needed to, when he originally called me, the person, how do we change that? When he originally called me, I wasn't interested. It was 9 months later that I was interested because my circumstances had changed. And this person, this was one of the first people that ever got me into this industry, kept being consistent. And a lot of times I wasn't taking the call, but he wasn't bugging me, but he just call up every now and then, just say, hey, listen, I just wanted to check in, see if this might be up your alley yet. And fortunately for me, he stuck with me, and I'm grateful to him. I didn't look at him like he was a nuisance. I'm grateful because he changed my life by being persistent, not pushy, persistent.
Right. Yeah. And that wasn't the first person that told me that, so it works. And you have to understand that what we have is very, very powerful. It's needed. And if you get mission driven instead of taking it from a sales perspective, or I'm trying to hit this level, if you just take it from the heart of your mission of understanding that we're helping, then it all falls into place because your heart is in it.
100%.
Amen.
I agree.
Good stuff. Thank you, Nicole.
Yep.
Mhm.
Excellent.
Sharon.
Hi, Danielle and Mark. This training is really great. It's been a while since I've been on. I was sick for last week. Excuse me, my voice was going. And I wanted to say I'm so sorry about your mother.
Thank you.
And wanted to let you know that, sending hugs. But I do have, and today was a great training. Kind of forgot about the vision board. And it's because it's been a long time since I've done that. So I'll have to start doing that again. But I don't know if this is the training that we could get this answer or not, or if it's going to be another one. It's talking about the points for, since they put the 250 in as permanent, and the rollover going to the loyalty points or going to the pay side. How does that work if you can do it on this training?
Well, it's a 250 cycle. So now, if you get yourself qualified as associate, it's up to 500 that you can earn. This is kind of complicated. It'd probably be better off showing the comp plan video than me trying to explain it. I don't want to create confusion for a lot of the other people out here, but let me try to explain it. If you have whatever your smaller leg is, if you've got, let's say, 350 in the smaller leg and you got 1,000 or whatever on the other leg, a 250 cycle is going to pay you $250. If you have a leadership point, then that 100 points will roll over to the next week. If you do not have a leadership point, then that 100 points will convert into what's called loyalty points, which can be redeemed towards silver and other sorts of medals that you can get. And that's they get some good values in there. So people can start getting medals right away through the loyalty points. I hope that makes sense.
Do we, maybe I misunderstood. Do we still get leadership points, or are they called new customer points?
I think they're called leadership points,
They're-
but you only get one.
It's a new little,
Is it not called that?
I forget what it's
Sort of
called.
verbiage type of thing?
I
Might be
saw it
different
earlier.
verbiage,
I
Yeah,
might be wrong.
it's
You
in your
earn-
back office.
You earn one of those. You earn one whenever you introduce a new member, no matter which member that it is, and it has to be used that week. And I don't want to confuse all the brand new people. Don't worry about
Right,
it.
right.
This has got to do with, we'll help you with that as it goes, as you start building. But right now, I don't want to
Okay.
confuse folks. on that.
That's fine. I appreciate what you just told me. So I'll let you-
Yeah, we'll be
Okay.
happy to help individually as well. I just don't want to get into too deep of stuff.
Understand. Thank you.
No, you're welcome. Plus, I want to make sure the information I'm giving you is all accurate too. It's still kind of new, so I don't know all the answers. All right. Leadership credits is what it's called.
And I think it's basically like a yes or no, right? That you're qualified for the week. So
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
don't-
Leadership
That's
credit you earn.
That's correct. Yeah.
All
So,
right.
so what's happening now, is there is a leadership credit for every single membership now, which didn't happen before. So you still get a credit for every membership. And, what it does is it'll just turn on to yes or no. Do you have a bonus or credit or whatever? It'll say yes, and it carries over to the following week. So there's not the pressure to, it's not the pressure to have to get people into the top one. If you really are building, because I know we used to talk about, there was obviously more it was advantageous to get into premium, but it's, in my humble opinion, it's advantageous just to have a membership, period. So this is what I love about all these wonderful upgrades right now, is that it doesn't matter where people are. And that was the whole vision. What you guys had shared, Mark and Danielle, you had shared what Josh was sharing privately at the summit. They had two very distinct missions. And one of them was to be able to help, no matter where anybody was in their financial situation, to access gold and silver. And that was the whole point of the upgrade. And so I love that. So it's amazing.
I
and
could
it's
not agree
amazing.
more. Yeah, it's blessing people that do not have access otherwise.
Annie,
I just wanted to say one more thing, which is I so appreciate both of your persistence and patience in holding the vision, because sometimes I flag, and I know I'm not the only one. So I really admire and respect that about the two of you, and thank you.
oh,
No, thanks.
thank you.
That's very kind.
It's true.
I would say this, everybody, surround yourself with like-minded people, because you'll always find people that can find things wrong. You'll always find people that have or that can distract you. And right now, we're going to be doing a lot of stuff. We're even thinking about doing a little bit of traveling around. We might wait a little bit, just simply to get through some of our stuff with our family, but we want to we got to get this in front of people. The more that I learn about this, the more that I really understand this is so much bigger than any one of us. It really is. It's huge. And so that's why it's important that, again, we get strong in ourselves. We get strong in our conviction and belief about who you are, and that you are an important person. Doesn't matter what your production is. It's you being that person who starts, that person seeing what's going on changes their life. It doesn't matter what your rank is. You made a difference in that person's life. Mark, go right ahead. You have a question or something you want to add?
No, just something I want to add on the topic of not giving up on people. I've known Tony for 2 years now, and I knew her when she started in 7K, and I was just not ready. I was getting into Bitcoins and all that, and now the market was going crazy. And I was always like, I have silver coins already, you know, and I'm like, I was looking for ways to buy gold. I said, okay, gold is a sure thing. I didn't lose money on Bitcoins and all that, thank God. But I was on another MLM, a huge MLM. Most people know, I won't name it, doesn't matter. But it was just like so complicated.
Mm-hmm.
And there was that pressure. If I want to be helped, I knew I was obliged to do certain things. And that pressure pushed me away, literally. And I feel that that's not what I'm understanding so far. I just joined on Friday. I feel that I understand that that's not the point here. It's like, okay, you do what you can, you do what you want. And if you want to build, we'll support you. And that's what I feel like from Tony, which is totally different. I didn't even know he was an MLM until Friday afternoon when I listened to one of their coaching I don't remember which one it was anyways. And then I said, okay, am I getting back into that? Do I really want to, you know? And now I'm kind of digesting all that. Okay, it makes sense. Yeah, okay, now I can, okay. And you said, you know, if people just, like Tony said, if people just want to have access to gold and silver, you know, get them in and eventually might want to build, or if not, who cares? You know, what's important is they have access to it, you know, and buying gold at, you know, at $1 a day, like, you know, they said it's like, hey, why not?
Why not?
Hey, it grows that way. Thank you for being there.
Thank you, Mark, and welcome aboard.
Yeah, I'm so happy you're here with us, Mark.
Mark is from Quebec.
Oh, bienvenue.
Yes. And Mark, I didn't tell you, but Danielle's family is from Quebec. Her father's from Quebec. And Danielle is my sponsor.
Oh,
So
cool.
this is Mark has been following me since I first got into 7K. And one of the things he said to me was, you didn't stop. I said, why would I? This is a
That's
blessing.
it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Hang on.
proving our point, Mark, that people are always watching. They're watching us, right?
They are.
Yep. Absolutely. And I would just mention this, and then Janine, we'll turn it over to you in just a second. I would say this, everybody, when we're getting that person, when we're wrapping up, sharing with them information, I would suggest a lot of people, when they're at that point, they're thinking, where am I going to put my silver? They're trying to determine how they're going to invest when they're trying to make a decision about getting the membership. Bring them back to the idea of, hey, I know you have a lot of questions. I know there's a lot of stuff here, but that's why you get the membership, because it will help fill in the gaps and answer those questions for you. That's why it's so important, everybody, because if so many people won't take action because they're thinking, I got to figure out where I'm going to put my silver. I got to figure out how I'm going to do this gold-backed IRA. I got to go do this. And they're all this stuff that if they got the membership and they just used it, it would be turnkey for them. And that's why if you get that happening, especially on a close to someone, you see someone confused or asking questions all over, bring them back. You have great questions. That's why sincerely you should get this membership, because all your questions are going to be answered within the membership, and it'll even be answered a lot clearer than what I'm doing right now. Can I make a suggestion? I would suggest get one of these memberships and let's help you get started. Which one do you think is the best one for you? And something like that might
That's
help
awesome.
them to take action. Okay, go right ahead, Janine. What do you got?
Hey, Janine.
Hello, everybody. So exactly what Nicole said, I just kind of wanted to reiterate, like some of the successes we've had too is really, you do have to pick up the phone. It feels like 100-pound brick some days, I'm going to tell you. It's not always easy. It's out of our comfort zone. But we have to get out of our head. And I will do this. I will physically place my hand on my heart, because I'm doing this because I genuinely believe that this is something magical that is the solution outside of what's going on. And so just believe in yourself, believe in speaking from your heart and connecting with that person. And I think when you're in your head, you're not going to connect to them because you're too busy listening to the voices in your head. coming back to your heart is where you're going to connect to them, and you're going to speak to whatever it is that they need to hear to understand the message, because that's what it's about. So I just kind of wanted to share that. And and one other thing. So we had this guy on a Zoom, right in the chat. He said, "This isn't for me. You didn't answer any of my questions." He seemed very distracted throughout the whole wealth strategy presentation. You could see him pushing on his screen and whatever. And I thought, how did that not answer any of his questions? It's so thorough. But I left it, and I just messaged him after. Well, wouldn't you know, he's been back asking questions this week, and that was probably a month ago.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And so you do just have to be persistent, and it's not to be a pest. Laura knows who it is. Yes. And so, you know what? You just keep answering their questions, reach out once in a while, say, "Hey, where are you at? Do you have any questions?" When you start off with asking what they know about gold and silver, you'll have a good idea whether they want to get it or not. And then you just go from there. So I just wanted to share that.
Good
That's
stuff.
excellent. Yes.
Thank you.
All right. We're getting close to an hour and we want to wrap up, but if anybody has any final comments that you'd like to add, please feel free to jump in. I will wrap with this, everyone. If we can get into, and I want to say thanks for all the caring that you all have expressed. It really means the world to me. And you've all gone through some different things that maybe we haven't known about. And, you know, I want to be able to celebrate the victories in your life. And I want to be able to be there for the tough times in your life too, as does Danielle. And so please feel free to reach out into this community and,
We're here.
feel it's all part of a family. You know, this is a blessing. You've been a blessing to me this week. And I will say this, we can be a blessing to so many more people. I will tell you this, if we can get into a culture, we can create a culture here of doing home get-togethers with friends while there's no pandemic going on or anything like that, where they can try and stop that from happening. If we can start creating a culture of people getting in homes and doing home parties, and then us zooming in or other people zooming in, I'm going to tell you, everyone, it will explode. Because when you get silver in someone's hands, when you get a coin in front of them, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. And, you know, Nicole, I'm just going to ask you just to say something super quickly, because you got your first coin. What difference did that make for you? You got involved in the business, you didn't get anything, but then you got your first coin. What difference did it make for you when you got your first one?
It just makes it real, and it's so exciting because they're beautiful, and I mean they're just absolutely beautiful. They're breathtaking, and so it makes a huge difference and makes it real. My brother or my stepbrother who came on board, he texted me with a whole bunch of exclamation points because he had just got his coin.
Awesome.
And
So
that's why I'm telling you, everybody, what we've experienced for this past year, where we weren't, thank you very much, Nicole, for adding that in. But what we've experienced this past year, where we had a $199 and a $499 kit, which had great value, but people were not getting that coin in their hands. Now that we're getting a coin in their hands right away, we're getting them hooked. And I have to tell you, that's residual income, everyone. That right there is passive income that's going to keep coming in. And all you're doing is helping that person take fiat currency that's depreciating and turning it into an appreciating asset. And that's all you're doing. They don't even have to think about it. I mean, you're making a difference in people's lives. Let's do this together as a team. We were thinking about doing something on Friday. Do we want to do something with that?
Yeah, we were thinking about doing another showing of
Do you want to do End of the Road, or do you want to do Andy Scheckman?
either Andy Scheckman's latest or End of the Road again, where we could invite our friends who don't know anything about gold and silver yet to just basically put the information in front of them. So that's what we're thinking about doing.
Something where you can get together with friends, maybe have wine, have, cheese, whatever. You just want to hang out with some friends. Say, listen, I just want you to see some of the things that I've learned. And, some of it's not going to, after they hear some of his message, they might need a lot of wine. But anyway. So anyway, but that's what,
See, I truly believe when you know the truth, we only stay in fear when we don't know the truth. I think when you know the truth, you lose your fear. And then you become like, okay, silver and gold make sense, we're ready. So,
yeah.
but that was funny.
So, thanks. So anyway, I think we want to do that. I think that would be
Yes.
excellent. And then immediately followed by an overview, because we'll show them the problem, and then we'll give them the overview to say, listen, here's what you can do to protect yourself from it. And it's not meant, we're not sitting there using fear. We are trying to wake people up. People need to be woken up. If you've listened to that video, he talks about it. It's like standing in the batter's box with Randy Johnson thrown at you and you're blindfolded. You have no idea what's coming. We need to let people know what's coming so they can be better prepared. And everybody needs what we have. And that's just the fact. So
I agree, Karina. People do miss being together. There's something really powerful about getting together, having fellowship.
at what time?
I feel like can we get back to you guys on that? Because,
We should announce it now.
all right, I feel like, where's my calendar?
I don't know.
Okay, well, we had said 4, but did I tell anybody already on here that I
We
would
could do
do
a
something
6
for them
o'clock.
at 4? No, you want to do 6?
We could do a 6 o'clock showing and then a 7 o'clock overview, Eastern time.
What do you guys think?
All right, everybody who doesn't have their camera on, I'm getting 0 response. Like
Well,
a
if you're talking happy
bunch of
hour,
deer in headlights is our
Go ahead, Nicole, what'd you say?
I said, if you're talking wine, I mean, it's best to be in happy hour hours, except that wine is good all day for me, but you know.
Annie's
Yeah.
booked 6. Annie, do you like 4 better?
Yeah.
5, 4, yeah. Better.
Yeah, let's do 4.
Well, I thought you were saying your thing was at 5:30.
What thing?
I don't know.
Feel like, so nobody on here booked me, right?
I like 6
I don't
His-
know.
at home.
Say that again. Nicole, was it you that booked us? No?
No, I was saying that I'm just thinking about people being home and like chilling and ready to listen, you know, that's
Right.
all.
I think she's saying, so you like 4, Nicole?
No, I mean, I like it later because people are just, you know, getting home at 4, or they may not be home yet.
Right,
If you're talking about like a home, like a party type of thing, or
right.
yeah. I mean, people, I mean, they'll be coming home, or Eastern time?
Eastern time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
people might
All
be
right, if people want to write in the chat, 4 or 6 Eastern, we'll go according to that.
Which helps us in the West as it's even earlier here. Yes, 6,
6,
please. So Kate's
6.
asking for 6.
6. Looks like it's gonna be 6, unless we get a lot of
Annie.
4s start jumping in there very quickly. Oh, someone's voting twice. Robert tried to sneak one in there. There you go.
You're so funny.
All right, let's do it at 6 then. And Annie, you can
What
still
day?
invite people on. We'll still take care of them for you and stuff like that.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
What day?
Friday.
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 And let me ask everybody, we have the 2 videos. We have End of the Road, How Money Became Worthless, which is an outstanding video from 2011, or we could play the Andy Schechtman one, which is very current. I think
Current.
the current one makes a lot of sense, and then we can do the other one another time. Andy, all right. So Andy wins 1-0. Okay.
All right, that's the plan. I'll make a
All right.
flyer.
Carmen had the deciding vote.
Laura and I are in Laura and I are in Whistler.
Oh, no.
So for all of you in Canada, Laura and I are in Whistler from the 25th to the 28th,
Oh,
doing the whole like meet and greet together. We're also going back to Calgary and Red Deer, Alberta. So
That's
we're doing a real
awesome.
whirlwind tour here the next little while.
love it.
Yeah, that's
I wish I was with you guys.
Yeah. So we're going to go back and see everybody that we saw very briefly in Calgary and try to reunite again. So us know.
Awesome.
let us know what's going
Excellent.
on. Okay.
Yeah, and Annie said that her mom and her are doing a presentation Saturday at 11 a.m.
So that's
Oh,
here.
I think it's gonna be, well, whoops, I
Or
guess we
noon.
can decide 11 or noon.
Okay,
Do you have a, do you have an opinion?
I would prefer noon because I'm going to the woman's thing at church. from
Okay, okay, we'll
11.
do noon. We'll do
And then
noon.
I could shoot right over from that.
yeah. So
Right.
Friday night is gonna be on this same Zoom link, everybody. But this is gonna be important. It's an hour-long talk by Andy, so you're gonna want to get people on immediately. We're gonna start immediately at 6. Okay, so try and get people on like 5 of. And I would just get them on by saying, listen, do me a favor. Let's get to come on over to the house for, let's have some wine. Let's just take a look at this. This is really going to help you understand why we got all this inflation, or something like that, where you can try and get them to watch it in a non-distracted way, if at all possible. Because it's something that, again, the only way we're going to be able to save folks is by waking them up. And I think this is a great way to do that. All right.
Okay.
Hey, love you all, everybody. All right, we're just letting someone in. So we'll admit them in, everybody.
We'll say good night.
Good night, everybody.
Don't forget,
Thank
we
you.
have our
Love you
corporate
guys.
call at
Yeah.
10 o'clock.
Corporate Zoom coming up in 1
If you
hour.
don't have WebEx already downloaded, download it. It'll make it easier for you. But yeah, you'll get the link in your email. Have a
Mark,
beautiful-
sorry to hear
All
about
right.
your mom.
Have a
Thank
great
you so
night.
much.
Oh,
That
thank
means
you,
so much to
Ashley.
me. I appreciate that.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
You
Goodbye,
too.
everyone.
Bye-bye.